direct you to the positive
Negative aspect.
Yes. So
communicate the correction you want to make to them and not force them to just buy into what you are saying.
it can be drive
Just as you said,
our youthful stage in a positive.
Stay tuned.
hello guys, hello everyone. How are you doing this Saturday morning? Okay, my name is Samuel Peter, and this is Talk the Talk. It is a station where we just rub minds together on certain issues bothering us and tends to find a pathway for us to learn and become empowered, to face life courageously. And here with me, I have by my right hand side, I have Miss Becky. Becky, how are you? Oh, I like your hair and the way you act the hair. It's fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And also, I have Miss Me here.
Princess. Hi guys, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine.
This says you give me this idea. I have three parts to get this. Okay, so today our conversation is around youthful exuberance. In the time of our youth, we think we can get away with anything. We think we can do anything. We somehow don't even count the consequences of our actions in most cases. So we are going to be looking at youthful exuberance. If there are things we can actually learn from it, and if there are positive things we can derive from this level of energy that young people display, and if there are pathways that we can start looking at to see how we help ourselves as young people and also have a community society that is better built. So that being said, we are going to start with I'm going to ask you, Princess, are there positive aspects of youthful exuberance?
Yeah. First of all, I want to start with the definition of youthful exuberance. Youthful exuberance, according to my own understanding, is just a stage in the life of a youth or a teenager where they want to explore. They want to explore things. Those things can be negative things or positive things. So, youthful exuberance can have its negative sides and positive sides too.
Okay, so this positive side is what we tend to see in this question now. So, what are the positive side of youthful exuberance? Let me ask you, what are some of the positive side of youthful exuberance?
Well, for me, there are lots of positive side in youthful exuberance. At that stage, the youth is the period, that time, whatever you did, what determines how you will be in the future. That's from my own understanding. So most of the positive things are the skills that you build at that stage, the mentorship you pass through. As a youth, you're very active. You're very active towards your thinking, um, your leadership. You have to learn how to be a leader. You have to explore, do things differently than how other people do it or than how elderly people do it.
Okay, so you made mention of mentorship,
Yes.
and the fact that a young person naturally is active,
Yes.
and the things they are able to do in that state of that energy is what defines their future.
Yes.
Okay, how best can we harness this youthful exuberance to have our young persons become men of impact?
Okay. Um, by actually helping them to learn things like skills, for them to be able to impact in the society, and youth empowerment. Yeah.
So we look at them learning a skill. One funny thing is sometimes there are some stages you pass, even sitting down to learn a skill becomes very difficult.
Yes.
Because in the process of learning a skill, you may not be getting um, return while you're learning. And as a young person that still has people that care for him, he can still be able to go through that phase of learning a skill. Once you have passed to the stage where there are a lot of um, financial engagement calling your attention, you may see that you would have to struggle learning a skill. So, so that means we have to see a way we encourage our young persons, support them to learn something meaningful that they can use as a tool to drive their purpose and things. And there's also the area of mentorship. Because I strongly believe when young people are taught the right way, they will also be able to become the kind of people that the society will be proud of because they have been taught in a way. Okay, so my next question I want to ask you now is in what ways can youthful exuberance lead to both positive and negative outcomes in young people's lives?
Yeah, many ways do. As youth, we do have um, perspective about things. We want to do different. We're always active. So if they do have the right mentorship, if they have a the right person or guidance leading them, which could be our parents or any senior colleague or anybody, it could lead to positive ways. And then you grow, you watch them and you see them grow to become better people. Understand? If as a youth you have different perspective about things, you have ideas, you have to find a way to follow it in the rightful way. Because if you tend to meet the wrong person now to give you advice towards that thing, you are finished.
Yeah.
So you have to find a good mentorship in whatever you want to do. That is the positive side. That you be able to create something good for yourself. Then for the negative aspects, one thing is that we at that youthful age we socialize a lot. Let me put it that way. I don't know how to explain it, but we meet a lot of people, and if we are not careful at that stage, we end up being influenced by the things we see or by the people we meet, and it most times turns out negative. For example, if you do not have a strong upbringing by people who direct you to the positive side, and then when you go out you want to explore. And see, another thing is that exploring too, you have to be very careful, because you might want to explore and then you explore rubbish. You understand what I'm saying? You explore and you want to be like you want to be like this person, you want to be like that person, you want to go clubbing, you want to do things before you start smoking, you start doing things. So you have to be careful of your exploration. That's why you need guidance so that you turn to the positive side. So you have to be very careful
All
at
right.
that stage of our life.
All right. So one of the key things that would help a young person drive a positive change is having the right mentorship.
Yes.
Having the right mentorship would help you to maintain the right kind of associations.
Yes.
And there's one key thing for, let me say for me, um, when I come to, you know, how I have lived my life, it's in such a way that if in my life as a young person there is something you are impacting in me or I am impacting in you, that means I would always want to tend to bring you to one kind of meeting that would help you grow in either your spiritual, either your finances, your mind, your stuff like that. Or you on the other hand, you are helping me with some kind of um, exposure that exposes me to financial, you know, understand literacy and stuff like that. So, and I also think that was coming as a result of an upbringing that I had as a young person. I had as a child. So it had in a way built my mind. Even on campus, I don't even. There are things I not that I cannot do them, but I really can't find myself doing it. Because I look out for more things that would bring my life in a way that it will become a life of impact.
Yes.
So I think mentorship is one of the right things. But there's a problem we used to have, and that problem is knowing the right mentor. And there is also a problem of young people being impatient. Impatient. A young person might be here now, and you are trying to teach, and they are just seeing what you're saying as though it is nothing. But the truth still remains that without knowledge, we cannot be empowered to grow. It's until we get the right kind of knowledge that is when we can become men of authority.
I think there's one statement that says the first upbringing and be the first training a child should receive is from the home, is from the
Yes,
family.
yes.
So whatever that child gets out of the family, whatever training, I think that is what the child decides on how he or she should live his own life.
Very true, very true.
Because as a parent should, in fact, I don't see any best way to raise a child. Because many people might say this is the best way you can raise a child, but it might not work for everybody. So you have to know the kind of child you're dealing with.
There are some tenets you can impart in kids from when they
They are
when they are small.
small.
So when they are now up to a certain stage, they don't struggle with influences too much. So they still have a way to still decide what is right for them and what is not right. So, even when it comes to mentorship, there's a way you will listen to somebody because of some kind of background you have had. You'll be like, I think this person will help.
I think that person is right.
I think this person will help. I think this person can actually expose me to things that I do not know yet, but I know I've seen it to know some things, but I don't know them yet. And this person, the way he's going, I believe he will lead me to better. Okay, so I have the next question for you, Miss Princess. And my question is, how can parents and educators, how can what we see these days? We see in a way that some parents have lost touch with the younger ones. So they really don't know how to impact that discipline they had when they were young to the young ones. So how can parents and educators effectively guide youthful exuberance without stifling their creativity and individuality?
Okay. I think it's just praying for them
Okay, right.
as parents
Experience.
because they will actually be a stage a youth the teenager will get to, and maybe they won't listen to a lot of things you'll be saying to them. They just want to go their own way, they just want to do things their own way and do whatever they like. Yes, at that point, I think the thing is just to pray and keep talking to that child and advising.
Okay, okay, so you made a point of praying for them. There's
Yes.
also one thing I strongly, you know, young people these days, if you tell a young person sit down here and you don't explain to him why you asked him to sit down, he will always want to explore that the other part you didn't explain. Let's say I just shout on you, sit down here, don't go anywhere, don't move. I've told you don't move. You on your own, you just want to move to know what is there. So if a parent can actually explain to young persons, okay, this is the reason why I said you should not do this thing. Because if you do it, you are going to get a result like this. And you will not be proud of, you will not be happy with yourself because you've done something like this. So if many times young persons do things without even thinking there are consequences for their
Yeah.
actions. So if we now get to know consequences of our actions, it makes us to become more, you know, more like responsible. Okay, I don't want to do this, but if I want to do this thing, then I am ready for the consequence. For instance, when many young girls are sleeping with guys and getting pregnant and doing abortion and all of those things, for them, it's for some persons they feel like it's fun. For some of them, it's a mistake that they cannot avoid again. But if someone has been taught very well that when you do this thing, you are likely going to destroy your womb. You're likely going to destroy your womb and also your destiny. And you're also killing people like yourself.
In your spiritual life too.
Yes. So when I imagine whenever you want to do this thing, this thought is coming. Oh, I am killing somebody. I am. There will always be some kind of restraint to allow yourself into that kind of thing again. Let's say if young person is told, okay, when you smoke and when you drink some kind of alcohol, it will reduce your lifespan. It will make you not in full control of yourself. And what every man wants is to be in control of himself. Yes, to be. That's why when you have a bill to pay and you don't have money, you get shattered because you are feeling less in control of that situation. So if somebody knows, okay, when I take alcohol and some things, those things start controlling me. So whenever he's taking the alcohol, that thought is ringing in his head. Oh, you want to? From there now, I think if our parents could see a way to communicate these things this way, when you tell them, okay, this is the reason, this is the okay, don't do this because of this. I think it's even while we pray, it will, and these things are good when you start it from when they are still.
Little, yeah. And
For instance, many young people tell me about sex education as young as little children. They don't see their parents or maybe a father or mother teach them, okay, this is what is in this thing. This is why you should not do this thing. This is why you should keep yourself, purify yourself until the time when you can, when you are married. So when they don't know these things, as other people are jumping around with girls and guys, they will
want to.
yes. When your friend is saying I have a girlfriend, you even sometimes we feeling guilty not having a girlfriend, not having it happens
Am
to
I
you.
a spoon?
Yes, yes. You'll be like, what's my problem? Am I what's my why is my own like this? Everybody around me has girlfriend and boyfriend, and me I don't have. But when you have rightly been taught, okay, this thing you may have friends, but they should be for specific purposes. In the midst of it, if you now know you've grown to a level where you can take where you can become responsible for your decisions and say, okay, I think this person I can stay with this person. So okay. So I have the next question for you. Miss
Thank you.
Becky. Bex Bex. Alright. What role does social media play in amplifying youthful exuberance? And are there ways it can be managed to prevent negative consequences?
I'll pick a point from what you said earlier about parents educating their children on certain things. I think as a parent, you should have your child to be your best friend.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Your child
It
to
will be easier for you
you
to
to communicate.
communicate.
Let the person feel
That's
safe.
communication.
Yeah, let the person feel safe with you to be able to tell you some certain things.
I've seen parents that they have a rough day at work. They will come back start explaining to their 5-year-old son
How their day
how their
went.
day was. So that helps the young son to be free around their
Comfortable.
parents.
Yes. Okay.
I think it's nice.
Okay. Now, social media has a lot of things to teach us. Like most of the skills I learn, most of the things I learn it online. You understand? So, and that thing is that now, as a parent or as a guardian, if you are able to make your child understand that your social media activities should have some boundaries, should have some limits, that some things you're not supposed to do on social media. You have to have self-control. You have to discipline yourself on some certain pages or whatever you're not supposed to do on the internet. Only use it for positive things like learning a skill, watching videos that will educate you. If it's business, trying to communicate with people to get more customers. Do things positive. It's you have because as far as that child knows that okay, this person that's mentoring me has taught me that social media too can have a negative influence on me. You shouldn't go that way because you know it will destroy your life. You understand? When you begin to see things you're not supposed to see, and then you want to react, you want to do what because we as youth we always want to do, we always want to explore, we always want to know how it feels.
Mm,
You understand? So if we do not have that discipline, if we do not have that discipline as a youth from that young age, I think it's going to be very hard to stop it.
And this also boils down to what young people learn from their home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Learn from their home. You know, who are the people that the devil is using to destroy the world today as per social media? They are mostly young persons.
Yes.
And if I have a right upbringing, there are limits to things I would just want to do and put out there. I don't know whether you get it.
Yes.
Like there are some girls because of this. I watched a certain video one time. A girl, I think she was from South Africa or somewhere. She was pleading, saying that she was sorry, that she never knew this thing was going to haunt her. And what happened? She released her, I think her sex tape online when she was much younger.
Younger.
And now she was becoming a celeb, and a company had contracted her to be their ambassador. People now went to bring out the video and uploaded it. So the company had to decline the deal and say we cannot go with this deal again. And she was not like, oh, I never knew this was going to. So if a young person have that mindset that I am here to make impact, I am here to actually drive a force that will change my generation for good. There are things they would say, okay, I want to be promoting on social media, and things I don't want to promote on
Know
social media.
that okay, if I do this thing, it's going to affect
There's
me.
consequences.
Yes.
It will not only affect me alone, but it also affects some
People around
other
me.
people around me. Okay, so
Yeah, I actually wanted to add something. You asked a question that how can social media curb, right,
yes,
negative
it's all this negative stuff coming from useful exuberance.
I just think social media is actually an open space where you see the good
And the
and the
bad.
bad. Yeah. So as I said earlier, it all depends on you and self-discipline and being able to control yourself, knowing what is right and doing what is right.
Can useful exuberance be a driving force for social change?
Um, if actually it's applied in a positive way. Yeah, because when you talk about youthful exuberance, what comes to a lot of people's minds
It's the
are
exploration.
the negative
But
aspects
yes,
of it.
yes, yes, that's true.
So if it's actually applied in a positive way, it can be a drive to social change.
Just as you said, if it is applied in a positive way. There is one thing when young people on a move for a change puts their mind in one thing, it's done. No matter the challenge they face, as long as they are determined and say
Yes.
this thing. Same also when young people put their mind and say we want to destroy this one, people tend to get afraid because they know if they are focused, they will get it done.
Because youth have more connections.
Yes, they have.
Anyway,
So it can also be a driving force for social change. But it's just that, as you said, it has to be a positive one that has been rightly tutored, rightly mentored to go in that direction that we start seeing changes in our community, in our families, in our homes, and all of those things. Okay, I have the next question for you. What are some common misconceptions about youthful exuberance?
as she said before, once you just hear youthful exuberance, you just know it's negative vibes. Children being stubborn, wanting to do what they want to do, not wanting to listen to anybody or anything. That is just the first thing, first misconception, which is very wrong. You have to understand what youthful exuberance really is.
So it is beyond just that desire to I want to feel more. I want to roll with my guys and all of these things. I want to chuchu, like I want to smoke and I want
I want to make money.
yeah, I want to make money anyhow. I see that girl, I want check and I want lay and down. It is beyond
Yes.
stuff like that. And there is one thing I was saying. I think when I remember I was saying that it also goes in this youthful exuberance in direction with this. When I remember I was saying, I have a next question for you, Miss Princess. Miss Princess, yes, sir. Okay, so my question for you is are there ways communities can can help to ensure that young people stay on the right track?
Okay. As I was saying, or as I said earlier, holding enlightenment programs and then skill acquisition program, because if there is actually a skill acquisition program helping youth to get busy and doing something with their hands, I don't think they'll actually remember or think of some negative things to be doing at that point. So
Hmm.
whenever they are busy and they are creative, yeah,
Okay,
And I
whenever
don't,
they are
and I don't
busy
mind,
and creative.
and I don't mind the devil's
yes,
workshop.
The mind does not like to be idle.
Yes.
Like the mind does not like to be not to be busy, except maybe when you're sleeping and resting. So whenever you are just quiet, sitting down, your mind would always want to think about something. And if your mind has not been like you've not been capturing the right images in your mind, you see that you'll be thinking about one thing, and before you know it, you just want to act. Yes, you just want to. Let's say, for instance, as you talked about um, skill acquisitions, and there's also football. There's also football. Companies can see a way they can invest in those areas. There are young persons that they are passionate about football and they want to do something in that area. So, but maybe the politics with it somehow. But as society, policies can come in a way that okay, we can see how we utilize this basis and have our young persons function in those areas and pour out this energy. They will not have time to start committing crime in society.
Yeah,
And
and
there's also like um, sponsor programs that enable your not just this one day program that you just come and people now tell you stories after the whole story once or yeah subscribe. Subscribe. One man said something. He said that somebody that just says he is making 10 million in a month and is teaching you one thing that your subscription is the it's 10 million. So not just I'm not trying to talk down on those businesses, but we're looking at how communities can come in. So because like sponsor projects that are intentional. You're like, okay, we want to do this project for 6 months, for 3 months, and it's basically for the young people. And we've also gotten to a time where it's more like some young persons are now looking for easy ways to make
make
money.
money.
So you see, there was one day a young guy was telling me, when you do your quantum money, you get like 11 million. And he was just saying it's like it's not like he does it, but he was just telling me. So that's the misconception that has gone in that area. Many people are like, when I just go and do Yahoo, I'll just make.
But do you know that funny enough, it doesn't even work like that.
It doesn't work that easy until they get into it. You know that you also have to do many things that will not make your spirit to start feeling down and to start feeling scared, afraid of you know. But there's this thing in a society where there is no the mindset of enterprises. People avert corruption. In a society where there is corruption everywhere, you just look for the next means to cheat and
There's no growth, there's no
yes.
development.
So our core now is how can we society is now starting looking, how do we invest and bring these young people back so that we don't have the majority of our young persons pursuing after this means of making wealth, thinking I have to do the next person to make money before I can eat. Then seeing it okay, I have to work with my hands, then make money from there and even invest in sectors. Alright, so do you have anything to we are at the final lap of the
Well, first thing I want to say is that um, I believe most people enjoy when you make money with their own hands and
mm,
they are enjoying it, not the one that they will just come and take, you understand? Those that people that want to get, most people when they get, they use it to do something better. So I feel as a society or a community, I just want to add that people should do things that will, let's say, encourage. Let me put it that way. Invest, as you said before, just invest in things that people, the youth want to use that to grow, to be better, to work hard. And the second thing I wanted to say is when you see a youth misbehaving, there are a lot of people that doesn't like want to just shout for them and say you're useless, you're this. That's when they want to do it the more. But when you draw them closer and talk to them, most people they behave like they're not listening, but they are listening to what you are saying. And one day, that all that you're talking come
You
to
see
play.
them reflecting and
Yes.
taking action on those
But if
things.
you choose to you running your mouth like a mad person and want to be shouting and someone like me, na that time wey I wan do and pass. I go even stubborn.
So okay, so that means we have to, as our older ones, have to also know that.
Every older person has the responsibility of each youth, even if that person is not your child.
You know, we're also in a society where I can remember when I was much younger, then I was in the village. If you are a girl or you are a guy, you dress in a certain way, you'll be ashamed though, because older our mothers and our fathers sitting by the roadside,
Keep
they
on
will
calling
start
you.
saying some things, and you become like, and everyone will be treating you as though you are carrying one. We were in a time where if you dress anyhow and somebody is looking at you anyhow, you may even come and tell the person, "Hey, what is
No
it?"
fear anymore.
What is it? So that also calls for our older ones to now know that okay, times has actually changed. And there has to be a better ways of approaching this so
Yes,
that we
you don't
don't
have to
lose them.
embarrass the person.
So that we don't lose them. So that we don't now have them maybe trying to retaliate, but listen to us.
Yeah.
It also depends on how we choose to communicate the corrections we want to bring into them, and not force them to just buy into what we are saying.
And another thing that communication is communication when it's positive.
Yes.
That is when there is a feedback. So,
Yes.
but if you choose to just throw your words like that, I don't think there will be any positive feedback.
To just be as though
You
something
just
you're
pour
pouring on
water
the
or
road.
stone.
Do you have any final word for our
Yeah.
listeners?
Okay. What I have to say is that um, the community's contribution towards youthful exuberance is just to get our youth to be productive and creative. With that, they will actually not think of any negativity or pride to come in. And another thing I have to add is that as youth, we should just enjoy our youthful age, our youthful stage in a positive way. We should use this period to make impacts, to make out reasonable things for ourselves and to worship God.
Wow. You know, my final words for you. You know, what keeps you on the drive for change is that desire to make an impact. You have the owner of Facebook, the owner of Amazon, and the rest of them. Every one of them, they started as a young person and they had a desire to drive an impact in the society. Now they are no longer 20 years, they are no longer 25, but you could see what that desire for impact has achieved for them. And everybody now wants to be on Facebook, everybody wants to be on TikTok. People were behind this, and they are not old men, so they are young persons. So my advice is let's become passionate about driving positive changes. Um, Become intentional about making impact. So you not see that okay, my existence is for impact. Even when you don't have a purpose, you don't know what you want to do yet. When you start thinking this way, you start having a burden of what to do because impact is all about solving problems. It's all about when I solve your problem and you can now breathe, you now say, oh, you solved my problem. I've made an impact. So if that now becomes what we do as young persons, and before you know it, we make our immediate world a better place while the whole world keeps getting better. All right, thank you so much. You want to say something?
Yes. I think as a youth, you can actually be a mentor in the sense that if you are well mentored, younger people can actually be admiring you,
Yes, yes,
and you can that can actually drive respect without commanding it. So
yes,
as a youth out there, work on yourself.
yes, yes. Okay, you've heard it all from us. Um, what makes you don't necessarily have to be elected in any place to become a leader, but becoming responsible is all it takes to be a leader. Let's say a broom is here and it's not supposed to be here, and you now pick it and keep it somewhere else. By that, you're already having a burden of driving some positive change in the society. sides. All right, thank you so much. Stay with us.